January.
Really?
Went straight back onto the Wakefield, and by the 27th of January we're in the Sunda Straits, and that was our first taste of what it was going to be like. The Nips suddenly were there. They bombed us left, right and centre. We lost all our transports on 2 boats following us. We were lucky we didn't actually get hit. So in the Sunda Straits we were bombed, and we arrived in Singapore on the 29th
of January. And your vessel got right into Singapore?
Right.
It was able to...
We just sailed magnificently in full speed. We were the fastest, and as I told you, it was the Div Commander's ship, 18th Div, so that we went straight ahead first. Paravanes were out, and we just went straight in to Singapore Harbour, and of course, as luck would have it, straight into an air raid.
Yeah.
They used to come over in triangular formation as a block, and incredibly enough they were almost to the minute the exact same time during our stay in Singapore, every day.
Where did you deploy to initially?
And we started even during the air raid, you know, in embarking, getting our basic gear off. The lorries were parked alongside the quay. They were all manned by Aussies. They were the first Aussie we'd ever seen, and all our gear was flung on board the lorries. We'd no idea where we were being taken to, and off we whizzed as battalions on these lorries to various camps around Singapore, all basically of course within certain areas, but still as units. I make that point, it's something that the Japs obviously saw was happening, you know, that we didn't split up in a panic from the ships.
Now, if you arrived on the 29th,
yes,
the Argylls, I think, were the last people to cross. No, they were the last formed unit to cross the causeway, because strangely enough 2 Australian ambulances came over after them.
Yes.
But they came across, I think, on the 31st. So Singapore was now becoming the bastion.
Yes. See, Singapore was just stuffed solid.
Yeah.
We were rushed from there by lorry up to the northern corner, Serangoon, and we took up position there straight away. You'll notice in a lot of books that there's quite a bit of discussion between the commanders of where they thought the Japanese thrust would come. Percival always maintained one way and so on. But we went straight to Serangoon. It was assumed that that's the area they would come down the mainland and cross to.
Now, is that east of the causeway?
That's the far east side.
Yes, yes.
Serangoon is actually slightly north of Changi.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, let me look at the Chinese. Serangoon we stayed, I suppose, a week, maybe less than a week. We were mortared by the Japs from the mainland, and they obviously did that to reinforce the feeling that as a feint attack, but reinforce the feeling that that would be the main area they would concentrate on. We sent parties out at night across to the mainland, and had a few brushes with Japanese. That was the first contact, but very little. We lost a few men in Serangoon with mortar shelling from the mainland.
Now, can I just ask one question?
Yes.
How wide is the Johor Straits? Assuming the Japs were firing from the other side of the strait, how wide is that gap at that point? Just in rough figures.
Oh, I wouldn't, you know, I would only remember something about a mile.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Very,
so
very close.
The range of a mortar?
Oh yes, and they were of course using artillery.
As well?
As well.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah.
And we were firing back with quite unknown stuff in my position, which was attracting fire, which I didn't like. They brought a 75 pounder, which was French, and I tried to get it moved further out because I knew from what I'd been taught, you know, that would bring down fire. But we're only in Serangoon area a short time when we were told to evacuate and march straight back inland to Bukatima area.
Yes. So that's a distance of how many kilometres or miles?
That was some, you know, that was quite a hell of a march.
Yes.
There was no stopping, you know, except for grub. And we just went to Bukatima, which had been already under Japanese bombardment and air attack, and my first position in Bukatima I took over from Indian troops. They had suffered quite a few casualties, so that what I'd hopefully assumed when I was given my position and deployed my men, to have already
a defensive position,
defences and dugouts and so on.
Yeah.
They'd all been filled up by dead Indian troops.
Really?
So I had quite a bit of digging and working to do to make my own gun positions, and I think by then, when we arrived, it was dusk, so we worked right through the night, really, establishing ourselves.
Now that's interesting. The first question about the Indians, were they late reinforcements?
No, they'd been,
or were they people who'd been pushed back down the peninsula?
Yes.
Which unit were they?
They were the Ducks. The word escapes me at the moment, the actual unit. But an Indian brigade had been established to our left, and they had obviously moved round to Bukatima and then suffered quite a few casualties, as I've said, so we took over there.